You are born screaming in a house that smells like boiled cabbage and regret. Standard medieval welcome package. Your dad is a physician, not the rich kind. The kind who gets paid in chickens and broken promises. Home doubles as the office. There is a skull on the table. Dad says it is for study. You are not entirely sure. Your crib is lined with herbs because your dad thinks bad air causes disease. He is wrong, but at least it smells nice. Welcome to 14th century Europe. The streets smell like death. That is not a metaphor. It is Tuesday. Your toys are empty medicine bottles and a wooden tongue depressor. Other kids get sticks. You get medical waste. Your dad teaches you herbs before you can read. Lavender calms. Rosemary protects. Hemlock kills. Important to know the difference. You follow Dad on house calls carrying his bag. It weighs more than you do and smells like a herb. Garden died in it. You wait outside while Dad works. The sounds through the door teach you more about medicine than any book ever will. The barber across the street does surgery, haircuts, and tooth pulling. Same chair, same tools, sometimes same day. Latin lessons every night. Medical texts are all in Latin. If you can't read them, people die. No pressure. The apothecary has a crocodile hanging from the ceiling. Nobody explains why. You stop asking questions around age 8. Your first medical procedure is holding the bleeding bowl. The cure for everything is apparently draining blood until you faint. Leeches, they go on the patient. They drink the bad blood out. That is the theory. The reality is just awful. Delivery runs are your other job. Sprinting across town with jars of medicine that cost more than you are worth. Your dad consults star charts before every treatment. Jupiter rules the liver. Mars rules the blood. Nobody rules common sense. Other kids avoid you when they learn what your dad does. Physician's son is apparently the medieval version of Weird Kid. Your first death. A man who stopped breathing while your dad held his wrist. Nobody taught you what to feel. Dinner conversations at the physician's house are not for the squeamish. Your appetite learns to be flexible. By 14, you can mix a poultice, set a bone, and diagnose using urine color. Your social skills are another matter. Urine analysis is the main diagnostic tool. You look at it, smell it, and sometimes taste it. Medieval medicine. Your first bone setting. The farmer screams loud enough to scare the chickens 3 streets over. But the finger is straight. The anatomy books say the liver is on the left. The pig says otherwise. You trust the pig. The university does 1 public dissection a year. You watch from the back and learn more in an hour than a month of books. The market sells powdered unicorn horn as a cure. You know, it is just ground bone. But people believe what they need to believe. Your first solo payday, 2 eggs and a cabbage. The Hippocratic Oath didn't mention a salary. Half your job is astrology. The stars say when to bleed, when to purge, when to operate. The stars are very opinionated. Your first solo death. You stand there after and realize nobody trained you for this part. The books don't cover standing still. You try talking to a girl at the market. You mention boils within 30 seconds. She leaves. Your social skills are medical grade terrible. Your dad collapses during a house call. Physician, heal thyself doesn't work when your heart gives out. They bury him in the churchyard. A dozen patients show up. None of them paid their bills. Classic. You inherit the practice, the books, and the debt. You are a doctor now. Try not to kill anyone. Rich patients complain the most and pay the least. The poor patients thank you and pay in turnips. Medicine. The year is 1347. Word arrives from the east. Something is coming. Something that kills entire cities. Black swellings, the size of eggs, fever, vomiting blood. Death in 3 days. You read it twice, hoping you misread. The physicians meet. Some blame the stars. Some blame bad air. Some blame God. Nobody knows anything. Nobody admits it. It arrives by ship. Sailors with black lumps on their necks and blood on their lips. The city has 3 weeks. The city hires you as a plague doctor. They hand you the beak mask stuffed with lavender to filter the poison air. You look in the mirror and a nightmare looks back, designed to save you. Also terrifies every patient. People cross the street when they see you coming. Children scream. You are not a doctor anymore. You are a walking omen. The mask fogs up when you breathe hard. The world becomes a narrow circle of smeared glass. You get used to seeing less. The red cross on the door means plague. You knock, nobody answers. You go in anyway. That is the job now. The buboes are the size of apples, black and hard. You examine with a cane because touching means dying. You lance the bubo with a blade. Black fluid pours out. The patient screams. This is the closest thing to treatment you have. You step outside and lean against the wall. Through the mask, lavender. Inside that house, death. Dead carts roll every morning. You count bodies until counting becomes pointless. You keep records, names, addresses, symptoms, dates. Your handwriting gets worse as the numbers get bigger. The church says it is God's punishment. You say it is contagion. The church has more authority. People keep gathering in groups, a family of 5, all gone. The youngest is maybe 3. You stand in the doorway until your legs remember how to move. The city orders infected houses sealed, with the people still inside. You board the door and hear them calling your name. You drink more than you should. The wine doesn't help, but it fills the space between house calls. That space is shrinking. Every morning you check yourself, neck, armpits, groin. The 3 places the buboes appear first. Every morning, so far so good. The market is empty. Half the vendors are dead. The other half fled. The city is becoming a ghost with a pulse. Mass graves now. The churchyard is full. They dig pits outside the walls and fill them until they can't anymore. Your colleague catches it. You treat him with everything you know. He dies on the 3rd day, like everyone else. You wash your hands in vinegar until the skin cracks. Nobody told you to. Something inside you says to anyway. A baby alive in a house of dead parents? You carry her to the convent. Her crying follows you for 3 streets. Another cross on another door. The voice inside asks you not to mark it. You paint the cross and walk away. That is the protocol. The flagellants march through the streets, whipping their own backs until they bleed. They think pain stops plague. It doesn't. A mob blames you for the plague. They throw stones and rotten food. The people you are trying to save want to kill you. You barricade the door and wait for them to leave. This is the thanks. This is always the thanks. Bodies on the doorsteps. Nobody collects them fast enough. You step around them like furniture. That should bother you more. You try everything on a young woman. Herbs, lancing vinegar. She dies holding your gloved hand at dawn. You sit on the floor holding a dead woman's hand. Nobody else will. The mask fogs up. Not from herbs. You burn your clothes weekly. The fire takes everything except the smell. That stays. Bonfires every night to clean the air. They don't work. But the city needs to feel like it is doing something. Fewer cases this week, then fewer next week. The plague doesn't announce its exit, it just gets quieter. You take the mask off in daylight for the first time in months. Your face forgot the sun. The city wakes up slowly, like a patient. Not everyone made it, not even close. You sit in the empty cathedral. Half the pews stay empty forever. You survived. The question is, what survived? You go back to regular medicine, sore throats, broken bones, gout. The mask hangs on the wall, watching you work. A patient coughs and your whole body flinches. Your hands reach for a mask that isn't there. It has been 6 months. People invite you places. You say no. Crowds feel wrong now. Too many bodies, too close. The instinct doesn't switch off. Lavender used to be your favorite smell. Now it smells like the inside of the mask. Some associations don't break. The market fills again, but there are gaps. Empty stalls where vendors used to stand. Nobody says their names out loud. You take an apprentice. You teach him herbs and lancing and urine charts. You don't teach him about the plague. Not yet. You write it down, every failed treatment, every symptom, every name. The book grows thick. The dreams never stop. You wake up smelling lavender and death. Your nose can't forget. The mask stays on the wall. You can't wear it. You can't throw it away. It just hangs there like a question. You still charge less than you should. The rich physician across town has a carriage. You have the skull and the mask. The city council debates sanitation. Nobody asks the plague survivor his opinion. Politics never changes. Every fever makes your heart stop, every cough, every swollen gland. You check twice, 3 times. It is never enough. The city healed. You are not sure you did, but the sunset still works. The bread still smells good. That is something. The cough comes eventually, not plague, just time. Everything wears out, even plague doctors. The journal holds everything. Every failure, every death, every dawn you kept going anyway. You close your eyes in the same room your father did. The skull is still on the desk. Some things don't change. More people come than expected. Some you saved. Most just survived the same thing you did. The apprentice opens your journal, reads the first page, puts on his coat, opens the door. The practice continues. The mask hangs on the wall, patient and terrible and waiting. Because the plague always comes back, it always comes back. And somewhere in the city, a new physician's son opens his eyes. Same herbs, same skull, same questions without answers.